everybody? Welcome to the Triple B Double D. That's not the one. The Triple B Black and Gold Dynasty. Episode 4, ladies and gentlemen. I got so many shows, I sometimes don't even know what I got. So if you bear with me, and I got like 10 shows on this lovely channel, and sometimes that's just the way it is, and it's been a long day. But this is the Triple B Black and Gold Dynasty on the Triple B Experience YouTube channel. We have a lot of shows. The Triple B Unscripted Limited Edition, Cable's Cuts, and the Triple B Showcase with Cable that just went out today, where he actually did a showing of the Doc Strange action figure because the movie's coming out. And also, we also do the Mega Cast podcast with our friends, the Steelers Realm podcast. So, ladies and gentlemen, before I get to what I'm trying to say is I want to thank everybody for watching last show. The last Black and Gold Dynasty show was the most watched show that I've done, and I want to thank everybody for watching. So, like I said, I got so many shows. This is a Steelers show, and we're going to talk about the Steelers. So, also, before we talk about the Steelers, I want to say for the best podcast in Indiana County, please go to besttofindindianacounty.com and vote under activities and entertainment. Go under podcast and vote for the Triple B Experience. So this is how we're going to do it. Ladies and gentlemen, I didn't want to do this last week because, of what happened last week, and I didn't know how I was going to do this. So most of the Steeler fans know, all you guys know, the tragedy that was down in Florida. I want to get this over and done with as quick as I can because I don't want to be like that. But actually, on Saturday, April 9th, 2022, the incident was reported shortly after 6:30 on the interstate down in Fort Lauderdale at the Hollywood International Airport in Bowood County. Dwyane was nobody knows what happened, and I don't want to even speculate, but we lost a tragic we lost a life, and I don't have any idea, and the speculation is running rampant, and I'm not here to speculate. That's not what I'm trying to do, but actually it's just tragic that Dwyane Haskins at the age of 24 was tragically killed in Florida on his way, I believe, back to the airport, coming back to Pittsburgh, because they were doing some bonding excursion made by Mitch Trubisky, and all the skilled players came down except for Dionte Johnson, and Mason Rudolph did not show. And I believe he got out of his car and he got hit by a dump truck, and God bless him and his family at this time. But I didn't know how I wanted to do that. And I don't know how to do it. And I'm not trying to do stuff like that, but it has to be, I have to talk about it because actually this tragedy has foreseen, we only have 2 quarterbacks now in the Pittsburgh Steelers organization, because the Friday before, on the 8th, Joshua Dobbs signed with the Cleveland Browns. And then the tragedy that has forsaken the Steelers with Dwyane Haskins tragically passing away down in Florida. So in 24 hours, we lost 2 quarterbacks. So I just wanted to get that out there. Prayers for everybody involved and the Steeler organization at this time. I just want to say that I will believe this will be Mike Tomlin's greatest coaching in his career, because the tragedy that happened, a lot of the guys were down there. If anybody saw the Chase Claypool video, he was distraught, which is understandably, I understand that. This will be Mike Tomlin's, and I'm not a big Mike Tomlin fan, but I believe it's going to be his greatest greatest coaching because he has to unify all these guys in a time of need, and then they have to bounce back, and that's going to be very, very hard. I don't know how they're going to do it. Um, I just don't know. So I I, I just I got nothing. So look, it's tragedy that hopefully they can all. I feel bad for Mitch Trubisky because Mitch tried to do something, to get some camaraderie into his new teammates. I'm sure he feels bad, and it's just going to be something. And then I believe now the draft will be, guys. I believe Pittsburgh now will draft a quarterback in that draft. I wish they didn't, but since the circumstances have transpired, they're going to have to. And I just don't know what. So I'm going to say probably whatever quarterback is available, they probably will draft a quarterback. I wanted to see him get a defensive lineman, and that's not going to be the case. So I just don't know. So the Steelers that were signed, because Pittsburgh keeps signing some players, but they actually had restricted free agents, and they signed to a 1-year deal. Was J.C. Hassenauer 1-year contract? So they signed him. They just solidified some depth in that offensive line, which we're going to need because I believe they're going to be running the ball a little bit more due to the fact the Pittsburgh Steelers right now is not the high-powered offense of prior, maybe a couple years ago, where we actually with Big Ben and we had the 3Bs and we had we're not a high-powered offense anymore, guys. So we're gonna have to run the ball, and we can't be. We got to get some backup to Najee Harris so we don't run the wheels off of him. So, but also too, they signed Robert Spillane. They re-signed him to a 1-year deal. They also needed depth at the linebacking position, even though they signed some people, and they might draft a linebacker in the draft, but we won't know until that day next week, which next week we will be doing a draft watch along with our friends from the Steelers Realm podcast. Gary is going to be, Gary can't make it next week, but I believe myself and Cable will try to do the best we can to keep everything solidified with the guys from Steelers Realm podcast with JTTA and their new guy, CJ. I think we're going to talk it up till, so when the Steelers draft, we might go at like 9 o'clock and then get you guys all up on who was drafted. We're going to have a watch along. You guys could sit back, listen, watch along on your TVs, have a cold one, and listen to us. We've never done this before. So we'll probably get the bugs out, and you know how the bugs are. Anything that I do technologically, it's real hard. So, well, I don't know, Jimmy. I don't know if we can get everything straight back up, but it'll take a little bit more than 2 years, Jimmy. And thanks, Dana. Yes, thanks for voting for the podcast for the best podcast in Indiana County. So they also with it just, I don't know what to speculate now in all these mock drafts because there's been such a ton of mock drafts. It varies. So it all depends what quarterback goes before we get the 20th pick. But I do believe that they're going to pick a quarterback. And if Kenny Pickett lands in the 20th pick, Pittsburgh will be picking him. And there will be some competition in Pittsburgh training camp. And I also believe Dwyane Haskins, before this tragedy, was going to be a viable candidate for competition. I believe he could have beat out. I believe he could have beat out Mason Rudolph, or him and Mason would have been, well, anybody, because it would have been a 3-way for a starter role. Even though Mitch Trubisky got signed, they're just not going to hand it to Mitch. It's only speculation. So there would have been a healthy competition in the training camp, but now it's going to be Mason and Mitch right now. I believe Mason is not on the same page with the Steelers due to the fact that Pittsburgh went out and signed somebody, because I think he thought he was going to be the starting quarterback without any opposition. And I believe since his concussion, when he got hit, he got knocked out, I think he's been not as good as he once was prior. And him not going down there, him and Dionte Johnson not going down there, just seems to me like they're not having the team unity that Mitch was trying to bring. And as of right now, guys, Dionte Johnson wants more money in a contract than his last year. He wants over 90. Well, he wants $20 million a year. So, and I don't think he's worth $20 million a year. But that's just me. I mean, you guys can feel differently. You're allowed to. But I just think that and a couple years ago, our receiving core was very, very good. And now we only have, as of right now, is Dionte Johnson and Claypool. And hopefully Claypool can adjust and overcome the year that he had last year. And I saw that Twitter video. I mean, he was emotionally distraught of what happened in that situation down in Florida. And I do believe this situation in Florida is going to be an emotional, what's the word I'm looking for? Ooh, they could use this to rally the troops, or it could be very, very emotional when, because you lost a teammate and it's very, very hard to overcome. And it could be a rough year. I don't know how this is going to end up. I don't know. But like I said, this could be. I tell you what, Joe, he's not worth 20 million. He is not. And him just demanding, hey, Beth from Florida, and him demanding that. And just because now he got, the Pro Bowl and he was snubbed and he got in, but now the receivers now are, a lot of them are holding out, I believe. A lot of them, because as of right now, as of today, Pittsburgh is one of 13 teams. Hey, Martin, how you doing? Thanks for watching. One of 13 teams that have the off-season voluntary practices, where they go in and they do some conditioning. The phase 1 covers first 2 weeks of activities limited to meetings, strength training, conditioning, and physical rehab only. No, they're not hitting anybody. They're just trying to get some book smarts, and get to working out, using the facility, using some team camaraderie, stuff like that. And I don't know who. I don't think Dante showed up today. I don't know who showed up today. Hopefully they all showed up, because to get to be a winner and get into the playoffs, they need to show up all the time. I do believe that. And that's just how it is. So, it's going to be a long season. But let's get to after next week. Hey, Shane, after next week, when we know what we drafted on the first round, and after next weekend, after we, well, I don't know about that, Jimmy, but they we after the draft, we know what we got, and then we go into the mini camp and ready to go. And yeah, it's going to be a long season for sure, Shane. It's just and I'm pulling a lot of stuff for commenting on stuff doing these shows, because there's not a lot of information. There's not a lot of stuff out there. So, and I'm just going off the top of my head about stuff that I've seen and stuff that's going on. Right now, as we speak, I'm watching the XFL and the Pittsburgh Maulers, and defensively, they look like the Steelers did when they were getting ran on last season. And actually, speaking of the Pittsburgh Maulers, their coach actually got rid of somebody because he wouldn't eat the chicken salad. So I don't know if that's true or not, but Kirby Wilson, who was a coach for the Steelers, but I don't know. And I like to watch some of these stuff, because the XFL, you're going to get a lot of practice players, because you have to sign some practice players. The O-line looks terrible on the Maulers or ours. Joe, because ours is I don't know. Ours is going to be bad. Hey, Louie, how you doing? So I don't know, but we're going to need people in certain situations. The Steelers are going to have to sign some people for special teams. They're going to need the Maulers. Okay, yeah, it didn't look that good when I saw. Um, but it could be the Steelers and the Maulers, probably like that, Joe. Probably even Steven. Um, so it's just they need people to sign because they're going to have 4 quarterbacks probably in camp just so they have some reps. You need to be at training camp and let them know. I'd like to go to training camp this year, Beth. Um, this is probably the first one in a couple years due to COVID. I usually like to go every year. I don't think I'm going to make another Steel. I don't know if I'm ever going to go to another Steeler game at Heinz Field due to the fact seeing Ben's last game. Actually, Ben's last game was actually on the NFL Network that I got to see when I was there. I actually got to see it on TV the other day, and then it was an emotional. I mean, if they could play like that all the time, we'd be okay. But I have to wait and see. So they're going to pick a lot of people up. They're going to have to get 2 quarterbacks. Steelers are hurting for 10. Yeah, they are. They are, Shane. There's a lot of receivers in this draft. But now with the passing of Dwyane Haskins, that number 1 pick is going to be a quarterback now. I just know it. And I didn't 2 weeks ago I didn't want a quarterback, and I still don't want a quarterback, but what are we going to do? We can't go into camp. We can't go into camp with just Mason and Trubisky. And I don't even know, they're not even looking to sign anybody like out around unless it's Fitzpatrick. You know what I mean? I don't know and he's veteran. There's no veterans out there to sign to bring him into camp, or they'd have done it already. So that tells me that they are going to draft a quarterback. Now, Willis from Liberty State might already be gone. They look like the Pittsburgh Passion. At least they could play. You're right, Jimmy. The Passion. There's some tough teams there in the Passion. Excuse me. But hey, Louie, how you doing? Darn, I'm dying here. So I just think now we're going to draft a quarterback and go 3, and then they're going to sign somebody. I just don't know who. I don't know if they're going to go. I don't know if they'll go. I don't even know. I don't even know how people can predict the NFL draft. It's like an ungifted job. Yeah, I just don't know. So but I know that the United States Football League, there's going to be some people coming and getting signed with some teams. So if you guys aren't doing that, and maybe there's going to be somebody that the Steelers pick up, because like I said, they're going to need depth in the secondary. They're going to need depth on the defensive line, linebackers, just to fill the spots for practice. Definitely, I don't know if there's going to be a quarterback that they sign out of here, but who knows? Who knows? But this draft coming next week, the 28th, which we will actually have, I will be actually live at, I believe, 9 o'clock, probably going from 10 rounds from 10 to when the Steelers draft in the 20th, because I don't think anybody is going to listen to me for 3 hours. It's yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I wish they would, and it's like predicting wrestling. Yeah, it's hard to predict that too. Jimmy, I can't. It's hard, but also, what else does I want to talk about? Oh, I don't know. And in the other league, the XFL has 2 Steelers. 2 Steeler greats now are coaches. Hines Ward. Hey, Trav, how you doing? And Rod Woodson. So I don't know what team. They don't know what teams are going to be. Like Hines Ward. I wish Hines Ward was a Steelers receiver. He volunteered some stuff to get his foot in the door, and they didn't hook him up. I don't know why they didn't, which I would have. I mean, that's a little bit of biased in my opinion, because I'm a little biased to Hines Ward. I mean, who isn't? I mean, to teach those receivers on how to be tough, on how to block, like that's something you can't teach that unless you teach them. And Hines would actually be, hey, Jason, how you doing? Jason, how you been, man? Thanks for showing up, Jay. And like Hines Ward could actually show those receivers, if he was the coach, to be better and the fundamentals of blocking and doing what he does best. But he was, I believe he was coaching up at New York. Oh, thanks, Shane. And everybody go to the Triple B Experience YouTube channel. Thank you, Shane. I think that Pittsburgh now they got this new receiver coach. And last year's receiver coach they fired. It was what was his name? See, it escapes me because he wasn't that good. So, but I think Hines Ward would have been a very, very good receiver coach. So I wish him and Rod Woodson. I didn't even know Rod Woodson was coaching anywhere. So they're going to be head coaches in the Rock's new XFL. So I don't know what team, but I'm going to follow because that's just. I believe that the United States Football League and the XFL, the NFL needs a minor league because there's some unproven talent out here playing football that could probably make it in the NFL. They can't watch everybody. So I don't know, Jimmy, if Ward would be like Coach Cower. But I'm telling you, if you guys didn't jump on before, this is going to be Mike Tomlin's to keep this team together from the travesty that happened a couple weeks ago. This is going to be Mike Tomlin's greatest coaching if he can keep this team together. Hey, Dana, if he can keep this team together and get them to where they need to be, and if they can make the playoffs with what the team they have, this could be his greatest coaching. And I don't need to bash him. I'm not a big Mike Tomlin fan at all, but I do believe that this year is going to be the most difficult besides Ben retiring, now with the tragedy of Dwyane Haskins, now with Dionte Johnson wanting more money. He's going to have to, he's not, they should trade him maybe trade him and get another pick, but they won't have any receivers though. I know it's crazy as it sounds. So I don't know. It's just going to be an eventful year like none other. And I appreciate everybody for showing up and supporting me. Like I said, the last show was the most watched show I've ever done. And I appreciate you guys for tuning in. And sometimes, like I have so many shows, I can't remember everything. It's just, and then I get hyper. So when I get hyper, I want to present the best that I can, and I do have a little bit of stuff over here to go off of, so I know, because there's a lot of stuff out there going on, but not as much. But there'll be next week. There'll be a lot of Steelers stuff, and then when they take that first round pick, which I think it's gonna be a quarterback, and I don't know what quarterback. It could be the dude from Cincinnati, the first round pick. That could be there because all the other quarterbacks could be gone. Then Pittsburgh takes that Riddler from Cincinnati, which he'll have to sit because he won't be starting. He needs to gain some more experience. So now it's going to be a quarterback. And I didn't want that, but that's what we're going to have, and we need another quarterback. You got to have 4 going into camp, and they're going to have to sign somebody. They'll get a free agent. So, hey, Sue, how you doing? So I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Like I said, hit like, hit share on the Triple B Experience YouTube page where you can see this show and all the other shows that are going on. Next Thursday, we will be tagging up with the Steelers Realm podcast to do the first time ever viewing of the draft. I think we're going to go from 10 to when the Steelers draft. I don't know what time that'll be, and I didn't want to start at the first round because I don't know if I could get everybody to listen to me for 3 hours. I'm sure I'm boring sometimes. Chris, we're going with a quarterback first round, receiver second round. Well, Chris, I believe I agree with you on the first round. The second round, I hope it's a defensive lineman if they go with the quarterback. We do need defensive linemen because we need depth, because all the defensive linemen are very, very old. I think we might trade up for a first round. I don't want him to trade up. I don't want him to trade up, Chris, because next year's draft, the quarterback is a lot better. We just got to. I believe we just got to get through this year, and we need players and positions that we need help in. And I want to get. I don't know if I wanted to get Jordan Davis, the nose tackle from Georgia, but I've read some stuff where he doesn't play a lot of snaps. I've read that. So, and I just read. I don't know how true it is, but I would take his is it Kendrick White, the defensive tackle from Georgia. So I would take him too. But guys, you got to remember, I don't know a lot of. Look, when I know I don't know something, I don't know a lot of college ball. I don't watch a lot of college ball, so it's very hard for me to look at talent and think that that'll be good for the Steelers when I don't watch a lot of college football. I used to back in the day, unless it's local. That's the hard part for me. Hey, Matt, how you doing? So that is something that other people can do. And I know Jason was on here, and Jason knows his football. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of people that know football, and I try to know football too. But it's just on this show, these are just my opinions, right, wrong, unjust. But I just don't know a lot of college football. I don't know who would be like all the players in the positions. I don't know that. These are just the people that I've read and seen, and we're in the top 100. And if it just happens to go for the Steelers, then I'll draft them. What do you think we're going to sign? I don't know if we're going to sign the Honey Badger, but you know what? He went to New Orleans and they didn't sign him. And Jarvis Landry is still out there, but he also wants $14 million a year. And like I said, Dionte Johnson wants $20 million a year. And you can't afford them both. And really, Dionte should just play. I just play it out and see what he can do. And now that, like I said, that he got to the Pro Bowl, because it's like a diva. It's a diva mentality receivers are. So it is what it is. But I know, and thank you, Shane. Vote for the best in Indiana County. Thank you. I'm trying. I'm trying to do this stuff, and I appreciate you guys' support. Like I said, last show was the most watched show that I've done, and I got to get the Triple B Black and Gold Dynasty. I got to get the call letters right, because I have so many shows, and I took many shots to the head. Sometimes it's hard for me to remember what shows I have, because I've done a lot. I've done podcasting for over 5 years now, and everything is just, it all runs congruent, you know? So I appreciate everybody for popping in. Now, you can listen to this show on Spotify. I'm going to be putting it on Spotify. Do we think we draft a running back later in the draft? Yes, I do, and I don't know any running backs. I believe we'll get a running back, but I don't know. It'd probably be later on in rounds, because unless McFarland could actually produce and show something that they did when they drafted him. So I just don't know. So I guarantee we're going to get one. Our running back stable has to be a lot better, because we can't have Najee running the ball for 200 touches, 300 touches, 400 touches a game a season. You know, you can't run their wheels off of them. Oh, I thank you, Susan, for sharing. So, okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to get out of here, but you can listen to this back on YouTube, and you can listen to this on Spotify. Like I said, I wanted to talk a little bit. I didn't want to do it last week due to the fact, and then we're going to get ready next week when we're going to be doing a mega cast with myself and Cable, with the Steelers Realm guys, JTTA, and their new guy, CJ, where we're going to be talking about the draft, gearing it up to the Steelers' first pick. And you guys can have some drinks, hang out with us, give us your thoughts, give us who you think we're gonna draft and stuff like that. He's like he wants everything but 20. He's not worth 20 million. You're exactly right, Jimmy. You're exactly right. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Please hit like and subscribe. Vote for the Triple B Experience for the Best in Indiana Counties podcast, because we're the people's champion. Listen to us on Unscripted. We have a lot of shows going on the Triple B Experience channel, on the YouTube channel. We do interviews with major celebrities and major people in the pulp culture. And then we do limited edition. Cable does his movie stuff. Cable does his action figures. They're great stuff. If you have kids that want to buy figures, or you're a collector yourself, and Cable's movies reviews, and also the mega cast with Steelers Realm. Ladies and gentlemen, we try to do a lot of stuff on this stuff. I try to be as entertaining as I can be. And I love the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I love all you guys for tuning in. I love the people who are sharing. Hey, Craig, how you doing? I'm just getting out of here. I'm so sorry. Craig, what's up? So you guys can go back and watch this. You can listen to this on Spotify because I'm going to download it here momentarily. But what I want to say is I appreciate all the support, and we're just doing what we can. And this is episode 4 of the Triple B Black and Gold Dynasty. And if you guys can do me a favor, if you guys can vote for the Triple B Experience for the best podcast in Indiana, I guarantee it'll be a great thing. I guarantee it. I don't know what I'm going to do, but it's happy to win something. So, I mean, thank you very much. You guys have a great night. Go Steelers. I'll see you guys next week for the first ever Mega Cast NFL Draft, where we're going to see who the Pittsburgh Steelers is drafting, which is now going to be a quarterback, I believe. So, thank you guys. Have a great night and a better